Don't forget to smash like on this video because just like the Justice League, we really are stronger together. Ho ho, hello there. It's the first time in a while I've actually been able to pick up a magazine on release date, but we're going to take a look at the magazine later on in the video because the reason I picked it up is for the Batman minifigure. If you're unaware, LEGO have been doing a lot of rubber capes in Marvel and in DC and even over in Dreams, which is a rubber cape that not many people know exists. But today we're looking at the one from the animated series Batmobile. I'm so happy I don't have to spend £55 on this minifigure, though I would really like to get my hands on a Mr. Freeze at some point in the near future. It's a really cool character, and I think LEGO have got the coolness across in the minifigure, pun slightly intended. And hold on, there's another one in blue rather than the black of this Batman, but the Batmobile is massive and it's only worth just over double the price. I might have to buy this set just for the rubber cape and the awesome Batmobile. But whilst I'm debating on that, I thought it'd be fun to put this rubber cape on some of the Star Wars minifigures and also explain why I like these rubber capes so much. That's the perfect title. So before we crack this open and take a look at our Batman minifigure, because we are being fair with the rubber capes and the material capes down the line, I thought we'd also stretch that out to the minifigure choice from Star Wars. So we have got Darth Maul, who definitely needs a cape. We've also got the Emperor, who sort of ties into the prequel and original trilogies, but then we're going over into the original trilogies with both Garren Dunn and, of course, the Dark Lord of the Sith, Vader himself. And then stretching into the sequels. Sequels don't get a lot of love from LEGO, so there's not much choice for minifigures. We have Kylo Ren from Rise of Skywalker. I definitely like the red on his mask. And we have Luke from Crate. So hopefully there are at least some minifigures that interest you from your favorite trilogies. In fact, along with your favorite cape, we'll put paper, cloth, and rubber. So the first word in your comment, paper, cloth, rubber. The second, prequel, original, or sequel. And then you can leave whatever comment you like. But I'll be interested to see how that differs. I am willing to bet most people are gonna say cloth for the cape and original trilogy for the characters, though it's gonna be a close one. So let me know. I'd love to see me proved wrong with sequel, prequel, rubber, or paper taking the lead. But enough time has passed. Let's get these paper bags open. Now, there's actually a trick well, it's not really a trick. It's just a way of opening that I open these. Because it is paper and very noisy, hopefully you can still hear me, you can just spread this back bit apart and it creates almost like a funnel. You can see it's like that letter in Harry Potter that Ron gets from Mrs. Weasley, and it would just start shouting at us in a second if we don't open it soon. But you can create a funnel and just pour out all of the pieces, which is really, really nice. Now, as well as the rubber cape, there is another piece that I was tempted to pick up two of these for, but I thought the rubber cape's going to be popular enough, so I will leave them. We only get sort of 3 or 4 of these magazines in the store that I pick them up. But this headpiece, this is I think it's the Draco headpiece. It's used enough in Draco, so that's what most, at least Harry Potter fans, will know it for. Has been used, I've completely forgotten. It's been used for one of the Star Wars characters. So I'll definitely be swapping this out with a different headpiece. And if I ever need it for that Star Wars figure, I'll be using that. But also the cowl. The cowl is so good. All the other Batman minifigures I haven't had one for a while. So they've got the white headband on them. I'm pretty sure all of the other ones do. So this is actually dual molded. It's white on the inside, which means you've got the actual eye covers on the cowl itself. And I will admit I am more of a fan of the cowl that doesn't have that bottom strap. I think I just have memories of my old space Lego figures breaking in that area specifically, a bit like Benny from the Lego movie. But this is a really, really nice minifigure. We get a little accessory as well. We've got a grapple gun. Still would like just a little bit of thread hooked through there that can perhaps bundle up in here, but perhaps I can do that myself and have Batman swinging from somewhere. So we have a nice grapple gun, which reminds me of the classic Batman games, the good old times when Lego games didn't take like hours to complete and you had to have like 4 saves just to get past episode 4. But we also get the classic Batarang, a little tricky to put in though. Once you've got it, there we go. I'm sure I'll have no problems going forth. And we get a spare Batarang, which is always nice. But we're not here to talk about Batman. We've seen Batman. What does the cape look like on the others? And more importantly, why do I prefer rubber capes? And whilst we're on it, we might as well talk about the pupils as well, the new Palpatine pupils that we seem to be getting in a bunch of Star Wars figures. So first up, we're going to be looking at Darth Maul. Now, the reason I like rubber capes, and we can perhaps bring someone like Vader to compare them here, this feels so weird. It's like when you mix Lego and non-Lego brand. This just feels wrong. And I have a feeling it's going to be feeling that way for the next like 5 years until I get used to it and Lego bring out another form of capes, or perhaps go to the old plastic ones that I think we're seeing the return of in Minecraft. Now, when you look at a cloth cape, first off, the material is weaker. Rubber is going to last a lot longer. That's why Lego are putting a load of rubber capes in. Well, it's why they're putting them in kids' play sets. But then we see sets like the Batmobile, the 200 or 130 odd pound Batmobile, which I still can't believe it's that cheap. Imagine, well, we have got a UCS set. I'm pretty sure the A-Wing was around that price, but it didn't come with any grand exclusive figures like the blue Batman. But I think just from a display perspective, perhaps this will look better on Darth Vader. The other cape comes out way too wide. There is no reason the cape should be this wide. We should be getting Mandalorian capes in all Star Wars sets. This is, I guess, the Lego silhouette of characters like Vader. It sort of continues down from the mask. But I would prefer Mandalorian capes. Whereas this rubber cape, look at that nice little flow at the bottom. And I know you could probably press your capes to do something similar. That's a lot of effort. And it's not going to stay like that for long. You've also got this nice natural bump to it, like these teeth at the bottom. That's how a cape looks. If you've worn a cape for any sort of cosplay, you'll know that's usually how it goes, unless it is cut too specifically. I think a few layer dresses and that are cut a bit wobbly at the bottom so that it forms a nice curve. However, I think this is the big and personally probably the only grab, because I keep my Lego in pretty good condition. The cloth capes, you can see I've got cloth capes going back like a decade or two, and the only one that isn't good condition is the old man Luke Skywalker, which is that new thin material, but it's not black. The black, these are all that same material. I think they're all that same material, and these are fine, but it's that dark tan color has not fared well in my collection, which is a surprise to be sure, and definitely not a welcome one. But I think Maul looks pretty cool. Now, whilst we're here, I don't have the new Darth Maul, so that was the one from a couple of years ago, the best part of a decade. But this Palpatine is the one from the final duel. Well, actually from another Star Wars magazine, because I didn't pick up that set. And again, I guess Palpatine, it probably works less for, I think in general, Palpatine shouldn't have a cape. The Palpatine minifigure with a cape does look pretty cool. And again, we're used to seeing it for the last 20, 25 years from Lego. But Palpatine's robes hug him quite tight in the movie, and rather than a cape, I would opt for Palpatine to have some sort of dress piece on his lower half, a bit like Dumbledore with his robes, because seeing Dumbledore with a cape would be quite weird. Palpatine single-handedly taking down the other Sith. Let me know down in the comments as well, do you think Palpatine needs a cape? Now we're getting somewhere, because Garand Dun is not a popular, well, compared to the other 5 minifigures we are taking a look at in this video, Garand Dun definitely has the less screen time. And does he get killed off in episode 4? I don't think he does get killed off. I remember we kill him off in the game, or at least have to take him down, but I think that's just a you know, a little boss battle because there's no one else that they could give it to. But this cape looks even better without the black torso and legs. Just look at, I think Garandon is a easy contender to keep this cape. Garandon originally had my Mandalorian cape. There was a whole saga. I think I did a short on it on the channel about the missing Mandalorian cape, and I found it on this minifigure here. But if I weren't keeping it on Batman, perhaps I can go back in like a week, see if they have another issue of the DC magazine and pick up another cape. Or perhaps this will reduce the price of the piece on Bricklink, but especially the way that the hood and the cape both have very similar wrinkly designs. It looks really, really cool. Now we're on to probably Mr. Thumbnail here, because who's gonna look better in a cape than Darth Vader himself? I really don't think there is any contending, and I do think next time we see Darth Vader, there is a solid chance that he is in, or at least wearing, some sort of rubber cape. I would like to see an exclusive rubber cape piece. I'm not quite sure what they could do for Darth Vader, and I know this is spiky for Batman, so they probably would mold it off rounded, though I really like this jagged edge on the back. But I mean, I don't need to say anything. Just take a look at that. I think if anyone deserves a rubber cape, it's definitely Darth Vader. And I'm willing to put, I've got nothing to hand on the line here, but I'd be willing to put something on the line to say that the next time we get Darth Vader, there's going to be at least talk of him getting a rubber cape. I'll be really interested to see if they do go through with it, or because of all the arguments that have been caused across the vocal majority in the LEGO Star Wars community about all the karmas and that, they'll just stick to what they know fans love and go with these capes. I'm very happy that Darth Ray got a Mandalorian cape, and there was, I think, Reva from the Kenobi show also got a Mandalorian cape. So some designers are deciding to switch to the Mandalorian style. It does look really cool, but how long before someone decides to go with rubber instead? Now, for anyone wondering that has sat there staring at this minifigure, like you sort of recognize it, but can't quite recall what set this came in or where it's from, it technically didn't come in a set. In fact, this is a custom minifigure I have made myself with a sticker torso, and I did a video on it a while back. I'm pretty sure this figure's probably in the thumbnail, so it should be easy to find. But if I can find which one it is, I will leave it linked in the description, or at least put the thumbnail up on screen. But I think the rubber cape actually does work really well, and at the start it felt weird, but now it's feeling a lot more natural to put the rubber cape on, and it does take up a little more space in a minifigure display, so you wouldn't be able to display them as close as I like to without squashing the cape. But then again, get rid of this jagged edge like the regular cloth Batman capes, or the old cloth Batman capes used to have, and sort of flush it down with the minifigure, and I think this could look really cool. Certain characters like Vader definitely need, and perhaps even the Emperor can have a bit that comes down like this, but most characters would just have it cut off before the fold. At least that's what I'd like to see, like the Loki and Thor capes as well, that I do have at least Loki to hand. Hopefully Thor comes in a future magazine, but as you can see, there's no fold in it, and they actually do come down before that extra stud. So they're only a stud's width, which really you should be leaving for any other minifigure capes, but I quite like the look of this one. And last but not least, Kylo Ren, who the rumor is he could be seeing the return of sequel trilogy sets next year. I am really hoping we get some actual play sets, and not just some of these, you know, the ship designs, the helmets, 18 plus sets, because there are so many kids right now that don't have any sequel sets, because, well, the only one that's been on our shelves is like £150, and it's just been replaced with a £150 Dark Ray. So I'd love to see the return of sequel trilogy sets. The Force Awakens 10-year anniversary. I'm sure so many people feel differently about it now. I certainly would love to see some Force Awakens sets, but once again, the cape looks really, really cool. And I think Kylo's another minifigure that definitely needs a fold and just an extra bit of cape at the back. Anyway, Batman isn't the only pulley bag that came in this set, as we actually also have a Batman tumbler, which I got the big poly bag a few years ago. I haven't rebuilt it for this video. You can find images online, but there's a piece right at the front that I'm interested in because it looks like one of those new 1x2 slopes without the vents that I first saw over in Harry Potter for the brand new Ford Anglia. We'll bring our Batman back because we're not going to get Darth Vader driving the tumbler. And I do have to say, this bag is full to the brim. You can just feel how packed this is. I'm used to getting a few minifigures. They're really the only magazines that I pick up, though I do enjoy the puzzles from throughout, and especially the Marvel and Star Wars comics. So I have to see how the DC one compares. But this is bursting at the seams. Once again, we're going to use our little trick of trying not to ruin the bag. Ultimately, these are going to be recycled. I'm not too big a fan of keeping packets and different Lego packaging, although this one's a lot harder to open. I had to resort to tearing along the top, just like you would of like a singular packed tea bag at a hotel. I'm full of a load of weird comparisons here. But straight away, we're almost missing a piece, but there are a few pieces that interest me at the very least. We've got this meat cleaver here, which I saw first a while ago in one of the old, I think there was like a Chef CMF series back in one of the single or early double digit series. And that is always nice to get in a brand new color because I will be pieing this out afterwards and adding these pieces to my collection. It looks like there is no new slope, so it's probably this 1x3 that I saw just the end of, but we also get a few other elements like these fins with eclipse, which you can see on the packet go just at the front, but it looks like that slope there is the 1x3, only one way to find out. So whilst I'm trying to build the Batmobile tumbler, I'd just like to say it says 6+ on the packet. I'm pretty sure that's with instructions. I thought I would give it a go, try building it without any instructions, and it was very, very difficult for a little poly bag or paper poly bag, and I wasn't expecting it to be that hard. So I'm happy with the outcome. It does look like what it says on the tin. However, I have definitely not built this right, and I even have a spare piece left over that I'm pretty sure is probably important to some part of the integrity of the model. But that being said, let's take a look at what I put together, because it does still look like the Batman tumbler. I mean, if I get a side by side with what's on the box, it definitely looks like what it is. In fact, it probably looks exactly like what it is on the tin. I can't see anything that would say otherwise. However, I have used two 1x2 jumpers on this side, a 2x2 jumper that should probably be in the body somewhere. The back, I'm not sure what the back looks like, but it probably doesn't look like this. And like I said, I have this 1x2 bar element left over. But that being said, this is a really cool model. And if you wanted to with Batman, you can kind of get him to perch on the top of the tumbler as well, though you will be bending the cape quite a bit. And that is why rubber capes probably won't be hitting every Lego set anytime soon, because it's hard to, I guess you could probably stud Batman in at the front or get him to stand up on the roof of the tumbler like he's ready to grapple away, but you'd have to remove them. There you go. You'd have to remove them when you are trying to seat them. And because they're rubber rather than cloth, perhaps I just haven't pushed down Batman's head enough. Nope, it's all the way down, and the cape is still very, very loose on the minifigure, but I'm still a massive fan of these rubber capes, and I actually think the tumbler would make a cool display base for this minifigure. And of course, as well as these two poly bags, we do have the magazine. We might as well take a look as we're already here. But I did notice that the quality of the comics, they're styled off as a proper old style comic, and you can really tell that in the printing. But let's take a look at what else this magazine has in offer. So we've seen the Batman, we've seen the tumbler. What about the magazine? Well, it's just like any magazine, really. I have a feeling this will be quick. You can see everything that will be on or in this magazine, a few games, and we'll get to the posters as well in a second. The comics definitely look they look a bit low quality, but I think it's the actual style of the comic that they've been printed in. I'm not sure if I've just got a dodgy issue, but you can sort of tell on camera it doesn't look like what this page on the left looks like. This is very good quality, crisp lines, whereas we can take a look on the right and it looks more like the DC Comics art style for the older comics. But we're going to skip ahead to the poster. Like you saw at the start of the video, we've got a Justice League poster, Strong Together, and then we also have Gorilla God or Grog, or I have no idea on these names, and Croc, which is basically the DC's Hulk. I'm sure that will annoy some fans. And then next time we have an off-road Batmobile. So nothing special. I probably won't be picking it up, though it's worth saying it looks like it comes with the same 2x2 tiles that are on that giant Batmobile we looked at again at the start of the video with that other exclusive rubber cape. So that is very, very interesting. We do have some really cool door hangers on the sides, but I'll definitely go through, do the puzzles and read the comics. But overall, nothing too special. In fact, there's less in here because some of the pages are taken up advertising either friend sets, there's the Minecraft magazine advertised, and I'm not sure if this is because it's more popular or because it's the least popular magazine in Lego's line. And that has been a look at the Lego Batman magazine issue 36, or more importantly, the rubber cape that Lego seem to be adding to a lot of their minifigures. Now, we haven't seen it in Star Wars, and I think we get a load of capes for them to just start making rubber capes. I wouldn't mind a little accessory pack that comes with some rubber capes, some Mandalorian capes, some regular capes, some Karmas. And for Star Wars, we could definitely see something like that in the future. If not from Lego, then from a ton of other custom cape companies. But let me know your thoughts on rubber capes. I know most of you aren't a fan, but we'll see how that changes over the next few years. Don't forget to drop a like on this video. Check out the other two on screen now. I'll leave my other rubber cape video that I made a few weeks back for you to check that out, and the other one YouTube can pick for you. But thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Rubber capes or not, we'll be mixing it up here on the channel in future mocks, and may the bricks be with you always.